Hi, I'm Paul Edwards. I'm an independently published horror author, and first and foremost, a monster kid. This is about my 183rd or something YouTube video, but it is my first TikTok video too. So let me introduce myself to a whole new audience. I'm a self-published author. I've written a series of horror novels that I've published on Amazon, the Mourner's Woods novels. They all take place in a haunted forest. And I recapture the vibe and feel of 20th century monster movies, but of course in printed form, and set in a modern setting. On my videos, I usually review horror movies of the 20th century or look through old monster magazines such as Famous Monsters of Filmland and its million imitators. Sometimes we do things like look at vintage monster toys and things too. Tonight, I'm watching The Deadly Mantis from 1957, starring William Hopper. 1957 was a banner year for giant bug movies. There were a million giant bug movies. They were prevalent throughout the 50s. They started with the movie Them, which had giant ants. And quickly, there were a whole bunch more. We had Tarantula and Earth versus the Spider, giant spiders. We had Monster from Green Hell, giant wasps. We had the Black Scorpion, giant scorpions. We had Beginning of the End, giant grasshoppers. We had so many giant bug movies, it was hard to keep track of them all. And in this film, The Deadly Mantis, what we get is a 200-foot tall praying mantis, which has been frozen, encased in ice for millions of years at the North Pole, which is now set free and starts to ravage the modern world. The lead in this film is William Hopper, who most of us remember as Perry Mason's private detective Paul Drake in the very popular Perry Mason TV series. And he basically sounds and acts the same as he did as Paul Drake. He actually got the gig as Paul Drake right after completing this film. William Hopper was also noteworthy because he was the son of Hedda Hopper, who was, depending on your point of view, a great patriot or a collaborator in the Red Scare. She was a big supporter of the House Un-American Activities Committee. And William Hopper was afraid that his mom's controversial reputation would harm his chances to get cast in Hollywood, but it didn't, and he had a pretty distinguished career. In this film, he is a scientist who is trying to understand what kind of a creature it is that's been unleashed at the North Pole, and to, once he discovers what it is, to figure out a way that civilization can fight back against this seemingly unstoppable monster. The Deadly Mantis's attack on civilization is actually done fairly well, considering what kind of a film this is. He attacks several major cities and has reasonably convincing special effects given the era that we're dealing with here. I mean, this film is a masterpiece compared to The Giant Claw. The mantis itself meets its end in a rather unceremonious way. I won't spoil the end for you, but I will say that my one complaint about this film is the way that they destroy the mantis. It's sort of anticlimactic, especially considering the grand scale of the mantis attacking, major landmarks in the Northeast. The Deadly Mantis is probably one of the best of the giant bug craze movies that came out of the 1950s. It's not quite as good as Them, the movie that started it all, but it's a close runner-up. My foray into the subgenre of giant bug horror is Mourner's Web. In this book, Dr. Kate Mangold never let doubters detract from her admiration for the Jabba Fofi, legendary man-eating spiders of the Congolese jungle. She spent years tracking down specimens to rescue from extinction. To test their relocation to a new habitat, she chose Mourner's Woods, America's most haunted forest. Shunned for centuries, this isolated wilderness would give the Jabba Fofi a chance to secretly thrive and multiply. Now, Dr. Kate has hired nature guide Olivia Oblivious Tack to escort her back into Mourner's Woods to inspect the results. But her experiment has worked too well. Jabba Fofi spiders have conquered Mourner's Woods, depleted native wildlife, destroyed nature's equilibrium, and now devour anyone who dares to enter into their domain. Can Oblivious and Kate escape the giant spiders of Mourner's Woods? Will Kate's misguided project succeed in rescuing one endangered species by destroying our ecosystem? Can Oblivious restore balance to nature by destroying these invasive monsters? Will Kate let her try? Or is Mourner's Woods doomed to die under one great silken shroud to become Mourner's Web? This book, like all Mourner's Woods novels, is available for sale on Amazon. It's available in softcover, as you can see, in ebook and in audiobook. Thanks for spending some time letting me talk to you about the Deadly Mantis and the giant bug craze of the 1950s. I'll see you in Mourner's Woods.